As a hero from one of the clans of Armello, you'll quest, scheme, hire agents, explore, vanquish monsters, cast spells, and face off against other players with one ultimate end goal in mind: storming the palace and becoming the king or queen of Armello. The kingdom of Armello is as dangerous as it is beautiful. Perils, banes, and bandits hide around every corner, and a spreading corruption known as the Rot is leaving no creature untouched. This is IndieBox in 10, a show where I try to cover an entire indie box, including the game, in under 10 minutes. Now to you, Nitro Weasel 3K.
Thanks, Creepy Disembodied Voice, and myself. This is our indie box for this month. Indie box is a really cool box that you can get every month. It's a subscription. It's kind of like something like Loot Crate, only it focuses on one game, and everything in the box focuses on that same game. So let's take a look at what's inside this month's box. First thing I want you to notice about new boxes is that they no longer put the subscription key for Steam, the key that lets you unlock the game without opening the package, on the saran wrap for the game anymore. Now it comes printed inside the bottom of the box. So I'm not going to show you the bottom of the box because I don't want you guys to steal my key. Fun fact, it's mine, you can't have it. Another new thing that IndieBox has started doing is the IndieBox Challenge. Basically, every month they're giving us a challenge inside the box where you can win extra prizes or other cool things from the developer who made the game. It's kind of a really neat idea. And this month's game, Armello. This is a really, really interesting box. I'm kind of super excited to play this game. I'd never heard of this game before. So other than a little bit of research I did before the video started, I know nothing about it. So let's move on. Let's see what's inside the box. Inside the box we have some cards that they're kind of like those old cards where you have movement on the card when you move them. So that's kind of interesting. We've got a blacksmith. We've got something called Evil Eye. We've got the Vile Official. And these cards have something to do with the game, but you'll see when we do the review for the game here in a couple of seconds. Also inside the box, we have an instruction manual, a printed instruction manual. This is actually pretty cool, actually, because we don't get those anymore. And I come from an era where you used to get an instruction manual with everything you did. So, kind of neat. Cool, and the art style for this game is really cool. So, yeah, that's kind of neat. And this gives you basically the tutorial instructions, which is neat. So, instruction manual. Next, we have IndieBox newsletter. This will explain everything that's inside the box, and it'll tell you why it's connected to your game and why it's cool. So, kind of neat. Next up, we have the soundtrack for the game on CD, which is pretty awesome because every once in a while you'll find a really good, great indie game that has great music, mainly because these developers really take a lot of time and care when they select the people who do their music for them. So being able to get an album like this with your game is really cool, especially when it's related to the game that they've already sent you. So that's really neat. Here is our digital version of the game. This is a DRM-free version of the game. If you guys have never subscribed to IndieBox and you don't understand how this works, let me show you really quickly. So basically, if you open this little plastic container, you have a card. This little card here has a little section here that, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but there's a little section here that's like a tab, and if you flip this out, it's a USB key that has a DRM-free version of whatever game that you got for this month. Again, that way you don't have to use your Steam key if you don't want to. So that's in there. That's really cool, and these are kind of neat. I collect a lot of these. When I get my IndieBox, I keep them aside just because they look so neat. So there's that. There's also a patch for one of the animal groups inside of the game. This one looks like a wolf, so I'm guessing it's the clan for the wolves, but we'll find out when I play the game in a couple of minutes here. So yeah, there's that. And something large. I'm guessing a map. Let's find out. Ah, it looks like a wall scroll maybe? Yes. Yes. A gigantic wall scroll. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on the camera, but it is a huge, huge, huge wall scroll. I'm going to put my arm over my head. This isn't awkward at all. It's a huge wall scroll. It has some of the characters, some of that really cool art, and I love purple. It's my favorite color, so this is pretty cool. I like it. Finally, inside of IndieBox, you usually get some small goodies. This month, we got a sticker for the game, Armello. This is the one we're going to be playing. It seems to have all of the major players for the game on this tag, except for the king. We get a game-themed IndieBox sticker. So this is an IndieBox sticker that has characters and designs on it that go with the game they sent out this month. That's pretty cool. And finally, we got a really, really cool, nice-looking gold Armello collector's pen. So there we go. Now, let's take a look at the game inside. Let's see if I can still do this in under 10 minutes.
Armello is a digital board game with RPG strategy elements. In the world of Armello, we find ourselves in the role of a great animal warrior who lives under the rule of a once kind and caring king. The king's recent behavior has been less than friendly, and he's begun to make decrees that have negative effects on the nearby clans and placing bounties on anyone who dares to slight him in the smallest way. We find out quickly that the king has been tainted by the rot, a sickness that slowly eats away his health and affects his behavior by bringing him a great feeling of reward from killing characters or causing other general chaos. As a member of your chosen village, you and 3 other groups set out to regain control and take the king's place, or help him find peace. Players are free to move around the board with each player attempting to take their place as king of the land. To help you on your quest, you use cards that are drawn at the start of every round to help you via spells, items, or trickery. Each of these can lead to a win. You can slay the king, collect 4 spirit stones to banish him, raise your rot level higher than him and then slay him, or simply maintain the highest prestige in the game before the rot takes his life. The game functions much like a typical board game. Players each have a turn and go one at a time. You can move 1 space on the board per AP, with mountains and swamps costing more AP or causing damage if you travel through them. Forested areas provide cover so you don't have to be seen by other players. Players can trap or poison a certain square using trickery cards that will require any player who lands there to make a dice roll to avoid damage or negative effects. Events in battle play out much like Dungeons & Dragons and are played based on character stats and dice rolls, with added strategy of being able to burn cards in your hand for extra dice or an automatic damage or defense roll. If you choose to adventure through the caves and ruins, you may gain a sidekick to help you along your way and add benefits like boosted combat stats or seeing other players on the maps or their agendas. You can receive quests from townspeople while you're on your journey, and completing these quests can yield great rewards such as helpers or items. But these quests are not without peril. Each requires the player to decide between a safe and unsafe option to complete the mission. Taking the safe route may raise prestige, but it takes away your ability to gain a sidekick, while more dangerous options have higher rewards, but a loss could cost you dearly. This game is beautiful in every way. The visuals and audio are deep and rich, and they help to pull you into the world. Playing with headphones is a must if you'd like to feel surrounded by this fantasy world. Controls are tight and function perfectly, although much of the control is just selections using single clicks, but it works as expected. I chose to play with the keyboard, but Steam lists the game as having full controller support. If I had to say anything about this game that some players may not like, it's that games often take an hour to play, and the top player can easily be toppled at any time. This adds amazing replayability and complexity to the game, but it extends the amount of the time a round can take to play. The only other thing that slows the game down is that you cannot skip other players' turns, just like in a real board game. You must watch them move and see the results of their actions before you can take your turn. Some people may see this as a detriment, but I see it as a vital part of the board game style experience. I love this game dearly, and even though I only played for a short time for this video, chances are I'll boot it up the second I'm finished editing. It brings back feelings of joining friends around the D&D table or yelling at the double crosser and betrayal at House on the Hill. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out gamingwithscissors.com for more great content. If you want to see more of what I do or follow me, you can find me on social media. That's the best way to keep up with my upcoming projects. Check the description below if you want links to the game as well as a link to indiebox. They're a really great service, and I highly recommend you give them a shot. Bye, Internet!